Hey guys, it's Maven here once again with the end game video of the Quin 69 Static Strike Strength Stacking Inquisitor build. In the end, Static Strike felt pretty good for most of the game, just about all of the game even, but it felt pretty goddamn garbage for Maven because as I found out, if you're wearing a Replica Abyssus, aka taking some extra early damage, and then using a strike skill, something that forces you to like straight up hit the boss, it's a really bad fight. Like, you are so severely disadvantaged compared to everyone else or every other type of build that it forces you to become pretty damn good at the fight and the game. And you'll see a bit later on into the video, I did end up getting Maven very clean on one run, but it took quite a lot of practice. I'll get to that when I get to that. But for now, you can see that Static Strike is pretty damn good for clear speed if you build accordingly for it, get a bit of duration, I'd say, get some good movement speed and all of that. This character is not very fast, it doesn't have any extra duration, but simply put, just running around slapping some Static Strike and then running through mobs, and it feels very fluid, very smooth as the chains keep bouncing off. And by the end of the build, I wasn't even using the Divergent anymore, I was just using a regular Static Strike, which has 20% increased skill duration as its default quality, is what I meant to say, and using Shockwave. So Shockwave with that does give some pretty damn good clear. Otherwise, just some good chain, some good area will also give you really good clear on something like, let's say, a Void Forge or any other type of Static Strike. I think it's somewhat viable as long as you get really high DPS, get 1 or 2 additional strikes from the passive tree, your gloves, then it is very endgame viable and it is pretty damn good. The unfortunate thing is these cheese mechanics are what make it good or viable at the moment, and that is Hydra Sphere, letting you chain off of the sphere onto the boss itself, so you're getting basically twice as many hits, and also Intimidating Cry with the beams going off, but most importantly, Ruthless. Every third hit you will triple your damage, and that is super noticeable and extremely like hard carry in plenty of boss fights and situations. And without that sort of mechanic situation, then Static Strike doesn't feel particularly good for boss fighting in the end game. However, for everything else like clear, it seems to be a very nice clear skill. So all in all, I can recommend it, can recommend you check it out on some builds. I think if you really want to zoom, then doing some movement speed action with an additional chain, something like that, will be one of the fastest things you can do as a melee at the moment, I think anyway. It's pretty high tier on the melee list for clear speed. Ultimately, single target won't be anything too insane, but you can build it up to be pretty decent if you're using things like Ruthless and Hydra Sphere. The build itself as a concept for strength stack was pretty decent. It was just tough to wear a Replica Abyssus, but honestly, without wearing it, I'm losing like fucking half my damage. Not quite half, but it is close, and it just feels bad to take that off. But probably don't wear it if you want to enjoy endgame. You will kill things a little bit slower, but 7.5k life, and you know, using a helm that will cap your accuracy with the Warlord accuracy mod will be quite a bit more comfortable. Or you just look into a different Static Strike, because doing strength stack is pretty expensive in the end if you want to fine tune all of your gear, and I'm not sure it's 100% worth doing this type of a thing with all the Static Strike action. You could instead deck stack and give it a shot with a Hollow Palm, but you wouldn't be Static Striking, you'd be doing something like Infernal Blow, which is still very much a strike skill. So as you can see, we did do a 5-way for Legion. It was actually pretty smooth, almost got 3 full bars of loot happening. It's pretty decent for the little clear. It does have good single target once you've got your Hydra Sphere down, and especially once you get the Ruthless procs. It is very apparent when I do get a Ruthless proc, because a boss will die like, you know, twice as fast, and it's pretty ridiculous. So if there was a good way of actually timing those Ruthless procs, or keeping stock of them so that you know exactly when they're going off, then it would be pretty nuts. But at the moment, you either have to just like count your strikes or start out a boss fight without the gem in, put it in, attack twice, and then go for that third little hit. Like I did just here. So I had pre-fired my Ruthless, I hit it once, and then I stood there and did nothing. Because if I attack again, I will override that Ruthless proc, and it will be terrible. So it's a little bit clumsy. Then got good Metamorph action, very nice there with the chains. Inquisitor, once again coming through, making sure nothing has resists. And then this is the beginning of the pain that was Maven. I hadn't done Maven on a strike skill character, and I hadn't done it with a Abyssus, which makes you extremely weak to everything happening in the fight, because there is a whole lot of Ellie, and this is just a nice montage of me getting fucked, because I did brick the first 3 sets, I think. It's a fight where if things start going wrong, things just get more and more wrong. As you can see, the arena is covered in crap, and it's damn near impossible to move around or recover from that with a character that takes increased Ellie damage. And then I'm still pretty bad at the fight. I have been learning as much as I can and just throwing myself at the fight brute force style. You are painfully melee since you have to hit her and then be in full-blown melee range. You do have to be aware of all of the attacks going off at once. I was by no means good at this fight to begin with, just like I wasn't good at any of the fights in the game. On initial hit, pretty much, because it's just something that you need to practice, something you need to learn the mechanics of, and learn to fight under pressure. So once you're doing all of this under pressure, everything feels extremely overwhelming and everything feels extremely fast and like it's coming out of nowhere. It's only once you've fully learnt all the mechanics and can anticipate them that the pressure kind of goes away and you can perform a little bit better and then stop making some silly mistakes and know exactly what you're doing. So in the end, I think I did something like, I don't know, 12, 15 runs, and the first 3 were bricks. After that, I was killing her every time, but they were getting very messy, and then by the end, managed to actually squeak out a couple of Deathless runs where I just kind of knew what I needed to do, especially on this character, which can't take almost any hits, and has to go in for the melee strike, which is super annoying on especially the end phase when she keeps blinking around, keeps doing other attacks, and you really don't have much opportunity to get in there and do damage. So if you want some strike skill action and the hardest Maven kill boss fight in the game, do Replica Abyssus, do some sort of strike skill, and you might be able to get really good at Maven after like 15 runs as well. With that said, enjoy the good run of the Maven kill. Thank you very much for watching, and see you next time.
The prize piece comes to join.
Oh, fuck sauce. You can do a cascade of bitch. Like, what am I supposed to do, man? She's supposed to cascade of pain. I don't want to run back in there because I'll just get gibbed if she starts it.
Cascade of pain.
But since she's not doing it, I'm just wasting time.
Still.
What the hell? It didn't let me in.
Behold my collection.
Isn't that Reflect, dude? Did he just not activate Reflect anymore? I thought people said he was removed. Or Reflect was removed or something.
Stand still.
Oh, those chonks.
Why?
Yeah,
Resistance
that was a good
will be
ruthless thing. They just removed the reflect for this fight. Makes sense.
Scary.
My irritation.
Holy shit, how's that fair, dude?
Do what I say. Death will not be
Yeah,
an
that
escape.
was a ruthless.
I must have time to gather my will.
A cascade of pain.
Death made real.
Do what I say.
It's going well. I don't want to jinx myself, but it is going well.
Punishment inescapable.
Oh god. Yeah. I really need to make sure that guy dies. And this boss just drops rocks from the sky for you? That's rough.
Death will not be an escape.
Okay, I think I'm due to myself the memory thing. Is it just back and forth? Come on.
Stand still. Take this.
No!
A cascade of pain. Stand still.
Like, I needed to commit back into attacking so I could start leeching, because there was no way I could outreach in it.
Death will not.
No! She was like at 2% or some shit. Now I'm gonna do this again and die, because I'm stupid. Flawless run! Except for the problems, but actually, you know, pretty clean.
Enjoy our contests.
Hardcore viable!
You and I should do this again soon.
Hardcore viable, chat. With the Replica Abyssus static strike, it can be done.
Contrition.
It just took like 15 runs. That's obviously the one that goes into the video, since it's the only one that counts. I was trying for the first time on that attempt. Lux Lex Proxima, that. Alright, there we go. Orb of Regrets, Orb of Alchemy, Breach Monsters, Magic... Fuck this! What is this? Fuck off.